Hey everybody, Zee Garcia here. Today we're going to be planting our flower beds and trying to score the most points in Succulent. In this game, you are going to be sharing a plot of land. You're going to be planting your own flowers, and you are hoping to, with what you are gathering, complete different projects, try to have the most victory points. Let's go ahead and take a look at how the game works, and I'll see you on the other side. So here we're taking a look at a game already in progress. I'm going to be showing you one player's board and situation, but we've got a three-player game going. So the players are attempting to place out their flower beds. They're going to be drafting flower beds. They'll be placing flower beds. They'll be claiming clippings, which are these, and then using those to complete these projects for victory points. They're going to get victory points for that, for leftover clippings and so forth, and for having droplets, these special droplets over here, taking up spots in their greenhouse. Everybody has one of these. They are slightly different for each player. So each board is basically slightly different just by changing around the flowers, okay? So that's how that goes. So I'll put that back down there and show you what a turn looks like. It's about to be that player's turn right there. On your turn, you have a part A and you have a part B. Part A is mandatory. Part B is optional. A entails one of two things. You can put out a flower bed, which is taking one of these from the ones you've got. This player happens to have right now two that are single spots, one that's a three, and they come in ones, twos, and threes. So you can put out one of these, claim some things. The other option for part A is you can get new flower beds. So you'll either be putting one out or getting some new ones. Let me explain that part first. To get some new ones, you are going to take your token, this token right here, and you are going to, if it's on one of these cards, you will move it to another one that is unoccupied. Let's say go from here to this one, and I claim what's across the bottom there. In this case, a size 3, and I put that in my supply. All right, that's basically it. Now, putting one out is a little more complicated. Let's go ahead and do that for our turn. For part A, we're not getting new flower beds, we're deploying a flower bed. So I'm going to grab one, I'm going to play it anywhere I want to, following all the logical rules, not extending outside the flowers, not overlapping anything, etc., etc. So I'm going to put it right here, all right? And as you can see, you can peek the different colors through the spots, but normally you want to just see what you're going to get anyway. There's also spots that have a little droplet. So you'll be claiming one of those if you cover up any of them, like so. So I'm claiming one, and I'm going to put it over here anywhere I want in my greenhouse. So I'm going to put it right there. Then I'll get the clippings that I get, one orange, one of these red ones, one of these purple ones. I already had these two from before. So I'll add those to my supply. And then I'm going to mark this as being mine, okay? But before I do that, we have to check if there are any flowers adjacent to the new flower bed. All those players get one droplet. And indeed, I do have that player has one of their own around this new flower bed. Corner to corner does not count, but if this player had played there, it would count, and they would get one droplet themselves, okay? So, one more droplet. Again, you can put that anywhere you want to in there, and then we mark it, like so. And that is it, all right? So that's everything for part A, if you choose to deploy it. Put it out. Get the things you covered, droplets, clippings. See if anybody else gets a droplet because they have a flower adjacent to the new flower bed, and then mark it as being yours. Second part, okay, this is part B of the round, and this is the optional part, is scoring. You may complete one of these projects. And indeed, this player will complete a project. They will complete this one right here, which is going to require one of this color here. I'm calling that green. Kind of looks green out here, but the piece kind of looks gray. But anyway, green. One orange, one of the dark ones, the brown ones, all right? Black, brown. So that's what's going to happen. We're going to complete using that. That's what is needed. I don't have, as you'll see out here, I don't have a green one in my pool, but I can use the greenhouse to get me something I don't have. You see, if I have a spot that is completely filled with droplets. I can remove them all, and that counts as one of that kind to complete a project. So there we go. That's green. This is orange. This is brown. And that completes this one. I'm going to put that in my score pile. I'm going to get whatever it says. In this case, 3 points plus one of these red clippings immediately. So I'm going to get another one, put it in my supply. Before I remove this, though, we check if anyone's piece is on the new card being scored, okay? And indeed, if anyone's is, they get one of these large droplets, even if it's your own, which in this case it is my own. So you get this, you can put it anywhere in your greenhouse, and that one is a little bit different because it's larger. No, really, it's a little bit different because you are going to, when caching in that section, that one sticks around. Okay, so for example, if I put it here, and I chose to cache in that flower, I only remove this droplet. The other one sticks around, then I can keep using it. But also, some of these spots have numbers, and this is going to be victory points at the end of the game if it has a large droplet in that spot. So, that's what you're doing. And then we replenish the card so that we have a new one. And that's it. So you'll see the cards, of course, have a bunch of different ways to score. You know, they'll give you bonuses immediately. They'll score based on other things. This one, for example, will give you 1 point for every clipping of that color on all the cards that you score. So that might be something you go for. And that's basically it. Once that player's over, and once their turn is done, it goes to the next player. They'll do the same thing, put out a new flower bed or claim new ones, then possibly score, and so on until the game is over, which is triggered when players have a certain number of these projects based on the number of players. Highest score wins. That's all there is to it. So let's go ahead and go back up top. Let me tell you what I think of the game. All right, so that is Succulent here. A lovely game, a very attractive game, and a game that has a very captivating, warm cover. In fact, if there's one negative thing I can say right off the bat about Succulent is that it does a lot of things that a lot of other games have done recently. Have this lush look, have a gardening sort of theme and setting, and be a very pleasant, lovely, sort of easy entry-level family game, right? That's not bad. None of those things are bad. It just makes this game a little sort of, late to the party. But let's go ahead and get into it. That doesn't necessarily mean it's not a good game, right? So let's talk about it. There are two things for which I'm going to ding this game, and then the rest of my talking points here I do like. Let's start with the negative, all right? Besides what I said about it being sort of feeling late to the party. The aesthetics. I'm not a huge fan of the aesthetics. I think the box cover is lovely. Don't get me wrong. I'm talking about the look of that plot of land. The gravel pattern as a background is a little strong. I wish they'd faded that out a little bit more. The clippings are, as far as I can tell, are going to be not colorblind friendly. I wish those, again, they have the flower shapes are easy to tell apart, the ones that are on the board. Once you translate that into just colors, all the clippings look the same on the cards and on the actual wooden bits. So those are a little tricky. Overall, it just looks it looks like not the final go at the graphic design, if that makes sense. It looks like this is a good point somewhere in the middle of the graphic development of the project, and we're going to keep refining. Maybe turn down the glow on the flowers, which looks a little clip arty. Maybe fade the loose gravel look as a background, that sort of thing. It's not quite there for me. The other thing is the game arc. It's a little flat. The game arc is you're sort of doing the same things over and over. The game finds itself, or I found myself, I should say, being reminded of many other games in which you lay, pentamino type pieces, sort of Tetris-y shapes, collect stuff, trade stuff for points on cards. It has that feeling. That cadence is a pleasant cadence. It's nice, it's welcoming, it's warm, all of those lovely things. It's also a little flat, and it's also got that feeling of I've played something very similar to this before. I can't quite put my finger on it sort of feeling, yeah? So there you go. Those are my main negatives for this game. The theme, I think, is lovely. I like the theme. I like the gardening concept. It's very easy to play and get into. The replay value is pretty nice. I like the different scoring cards. I like that they push you towards different things depending on which ones you acquire. That's nice. Yes, you're doing the same things each game. Yes, there's not really variants you push in or new cards that you haven't seen or any of that stuff. It's the same. But it keeps the replayability high because there's not a lot to learn. And for the target audience, what I'm assuming is a target audience here, that's kind of what you want, while still not being the exact same gameplay from session to session. Next up, ease of play. It's good. Smooth turns. Nice breakdown of how everything should flow, so no problem there for me. It's a good rule book as well. And then lastly, tactics and strategy and luck. They're nicely connected ideas. I think the designer, J. Alex Kevern, is a very good designer when it comes to connecting things that are very mechanical to work with one another. He is definitely very much a mechanical designer. I like his mechanisms in games, but the best thing I like about his ideas is how he can weave one through another, so that as you yank on this thread, it pulls on this end of the game that would seemingly be not connected, okay? In this game, for example, you've got the idea that when you are drafting new tiles, you're taking new plots, flower beds, you are also locking down a location that if anybody completes, you get a nice big bonus. Or, of course, you can work with yourself. It's sort of like helping yourself out, where you can go there and then complete that thing, give yourself one of those big droplets. Those two things, getting new plots and completing them, aren't necessarily connected except through that idea of leaving something behind to lock it down for myself. So I like those things. I like that connection there. Overall, like I said, I like this game. I think it's solid, and I'm going to rate it a 7 out of 10. That's going to get a seal of approval from me. I recommend it. I think it's good. I do wish that it was a little more, felt a little more original. And I do wish that the graphic design had been tweaked a bit more, had a little more time go into it. But besides that, cover's lovely, absolutely, and the gameplay I think is very welcoming. So there you go. That is Succulent. I recommend it. 7 out of 10 from me, everybody. I'm Zee Garcia. I'll see you on the next one.